Hey guys, welcome to Brutes and Magoots, where today we are going to be demoing and reviewing the brand new Indie LaRocque signature LTD ALR-II guitar, which is based on a Horizon design. All right, guys, I can't even begin to tell you how stoked I am to finally be holding an Indie LaRocque signature guitar. I got into King Diamond, I think it was on the Them album, so I'm guessing about 1988-ish. Yes, I'm that old. And to me, Indie LaRocque is a criminally underrated guitarist. Anybody that's familiar with his work immediately appreciates his capabilities as a player. So it's a shame that it's been this long to get to this point, but we finally have it. And I'm also, on a side note, glad that he left Dean, which in my opinion is a less than reputable company. They're a little bit on the shady side. My opinion, you may not share that, but that's the way I feel. So I'm glad to see him with ESP. We have the LTD now, but I did see him with an E2 version of this. But on the previous tour, he played this LTD version. So I'm sure that we have probably a custom shop on the way as well as the E2 version. But let's go ahead and take a dive into this one. All right, so first up, we'll see that it comes with a ESP hardshell case, which is a really nice inclusion at this price point. I like the gray lining for the case. It really makes the body pop, even though this is the only time that I'm really going to be looking at it in its case. Let's go over the specs of the guitar. It is a right-handed guitar, 6 strings, solid body. It is a shorter scale, so Gibson scale, 24 3/4 inch. It has a maple veneer top, which looks really, really good. Now this isn't like a 4A maple, but it still has good movement to it, even though it's not really picking up on camera. It looks good. And on a side note too, which I like, they added a quilted maple veneer on the headstock, which is a nice inclusion. It ties the whole guitar together. Let's go ahead and take a look at the controls. Now this calls out that it has a push-pull coil split. Mine does not. It does not have coil splitting abilities. You have your 3-way selector. This is kind of like my first time playing like a Horizon style guitar. I don't love this layout, so I think I'll swap the 2 locations, just because I use this way more than I use the volume to turn off on the guitar. So bridge, we have a Floyd 1000 series bridge. It is an okay bridge. I'll probably be swapping it out for a Schaller Lockmeister. And the main reason for doing that is just because it's a better quality bridge, but also frustratingly enough, this is a compound radius, which isn't the frustration part. It is 12 inch to 16 inch radius. But they just continue, and they being all manufacturers, continue to put Floyds with 12-inch radius bridges on there. And I just don't understand why you have a compound radius and you go to 12 back to the bridge. It doesn't make any sense. That radius should continue along to the bridge. So that finishes up at somewhere about 18 or so inch radius. I think Schaller has a 17 inch, so I'll probably do that and maybe add a shim or two to shim it out to where it should be. I didn't need to do the math on the calculation to this point, but it's going to be somewhere about 18 inches. Definitely not 12. It doesn't magically go back to 12-inch radius. So that means that these strings are going to be higher in the center than out here because it goes back to a much harder radius. That aside, let's go ahead and talk about the pickups. We have two Seymour Duncans, and at the neck we have a single coil, and that is a STK S6 single coil. And then back here we have the tried and true Duncan TB4. Both of them together is an awesome combo. It's a long-standing combo, and I really like it. We have Mahogany wings on here with a 3-piece maple neck. And I went ahead and took off the covers so we could take a close look at the electronics cavities. The wiring routing is neat. And then here is this cavity. Now on higher end guitars, you're going to see this finished out a lot better in here, but it's not bad. And most people don't ever look at this. Although I'll put this back on, but I always leave this cover off just for bridge adjustments. But it would be nice if it was finished out, but at this price point, I'm not going to complain too much. And if I can catch the light, you can kind of see the 3-piece. There we go. 3-piece maple. Again, here's the mahogany wings. Come back through here. We have a gloss neck, which I don't love. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that Andy uses a gloss neck. I don't like it. It gets sticky to me. So I will be putting a satin finish on here. We do have a nice white binding all the way around the guitar, and it really makes it pop. If I can not ding my crap up. So I like the binding. It does get a little bit wonky here with the finish and staining, but it's not troublesome to me. Here we have side inlay markers. They are not lumen lay. I guess not at this price point. So I may, if I get picky at some point in time, I may just drill those out and put in lumen lay rods. We have fret markers down through here, which again, this is a pet peeve. I love this guitar. I'm just saying things that if it was my signature, which it's not because I'm not the guitarist that Andy LaRocque is, but I would shift these down here on the 12 to 24 frets, just because most of the stuff I do are on these strings, and it does take me like a second, and I just briefly playing guitar to get used to spotting where I need to be at when the marker is up so high. But that's just me. Come back here, we have a 12-inch radius nut, locking nut, which makes sense because that is the radius at 0 fret. Here's a headstock. We have LTD and his ALR-II deal on here. We have the binding that wraps all the way around the headstock. And in the back of here, we have locking tuners, which are just LTD, but thank you for locking tuners on here. Much appreciated. And overall, the paint, it looks really good. I'm really happy with it. There's tiny little stuff here and there, but like I could nitpick that I just don't see the point because there's a lot of value in this guitar. And I'm super, super stoked that that he has a signature guitar and that I'm able to buy. And then one last thing, as far as nitpicking, I will upgrade the block back here to like a larger brass block. And then I will go to silent springs, and then I'll put a tremolo on here, which just makes doing string changes and all that stuff just a lot easier in my opinion. But this is none of this stuff is stuff that you have to do. It's just stuff that I plan on doing because I like wrenching on guitars. It's kind of like my thing. And one last thing, the radius of the neck. They call it a thin C, but to me, it's not that thin. In fact, It's kind of like the, honestly, it's like the BC Rich, what they call the Shredzilla, which I'm just going off of my Eric Rutan Ironbird MK2. It is on the thicker side of thin to me. Now, is it like a Gibson neck? No. It's not like a baseball bat, but is it like a wizard neck? No. No, it is not. It is about as round and as thick as I would like it. Anymore, it might be cumbersome, but that's it. It's not as thin as what you would think, what people call nowadays a thin neck. All right, guys, so that's all there is to go over on this. In my opinion, it's a badass guitar. In today's market, price market, $1,700 is a deal. I know some people are not going to feel that way, but look here, you gotta price things at the current market. You can't go back 5-10 years or anything like that. So in this current market, to get hard shell case, stainless steel frets, locking tuners, quilted maple top. Yeah, it's made in Korea, but overall build quality is good and solid. It's a value, especially if you look at, like I just recently reviewed the Eric Rutan Ironbird, which is bloated in my opinion at $2,300. No case, no stainless steel frets, etc. Yeah, it has active electronics, but personally, I don't even like active electronics. I prefer the passives, and I like this Duncan combo. I remember, I don't know how long ago, maybe it was a year ago or so, maybe more, I can't remember. But Andy was on Facebook and he was asking people's opinions on different pickup combinations, what they liked or whatever. So I know he spent a lot of time, selecting these. And if you're playing that type of music, they are a fantastic combination. And I'm usually the first one to ditch stock electronics, but I have no need to do anything to that. The only thing I'm going to do is swap the volume and pickup selector because I don't use the volume that often, and I'd much rather have the pickup selector closer. So I'm going to do that. I don't like the gloss finish on the neck. I'm not that, I can't get along with that. So I'm going to satin finish the neck. And then I think I'll swap out the bridge to like a Lockmeister that has right radius and it's a little bit better quality than the 1000 bridge. But it's not like this is a bad bridge. I'm just gonna go ahead and upgrade it just to have a longer lasting bridge that stays in tune better over time and that is capable of flutters and all that stuff over longer periods. But really, other than that, there's nothing much to do that. And even still, you don't have to do any of this. It's a fabulous guitar on its own. Those are just changes that I will make for my personal needs and wants, and that's it. So as always, feel free to leave me questions, comments, and I will be happy to answer them. And until next time, I will see you guys later.
I believe I have made a significant find in the Macassarian ruins, a volume of ancient Sumerian burial practices and funerary incantations. It is entitled Naturam Imanto, roughly translated, Book of the Dead. The book is bound in human flesh.